Hello, everyone. Today, we're delving into the eye-opening book, Science for Sale: How the U.S. Government Uses Powerful Corporations and Leading Universities to Support Government Policies, Silence Top Scientists, Jeopardize Our Health, and Protect Corporate Profits, by David L. Lewis, a former research microbiologist with the Environmental Protection Agency, who blew the lid off the disturbing practices within government agencies, corporations, and even prestigious universities. This book is a call to action, a revelation of how the very institutions we trust to protect our health and environment are sometimes complicit in jeopardizing them. Let's start with the core issue: the erosion of scientific integrity. Lewis argues that the virtuous cycle of public support and investment in science, which has historically led to remarkable advancements in our quality of life, is being eroded. At a time when sound science is our best hope for solving global challenges, public trust in science is waning. Why? Because science has, in some cases, betrayed that trust. Lewis draws a parallel with Henrik Ibsen's classic, An Enemy of the People, where the protagonist, Dr. Stockman, sacrifices everything to expose the truth, only to be vilified by those in power. Similarly, Lewis himself faced immense backlash for daring to challenge the status quo. He discovered that scientific truth often clashes with powerful economic interests, leading to the suppression of dissenting voices and the persecution of whistleblowers. Now, let's talk about a term Lewis coined: institutional scientific misconduct. This is when government agencies, corporations, and academic institutions manipulate science to support their policies and practices. It's not about seeking truth. It's about perpetuating power. And here's the kicker: the very agencies tasked with ensuring scientific integrity are often the ones committing these acts. Lewis witnessed this firsthand as far back as 2001 during the infamous scandal involving the discovery of lead in the drinking water in Washington. Government agencies, in a bid to cover up their mistakes, published reports based on false data, claiming that the unprecedented exposure had no adverse effects. This was a blatant abuse of science, and the consequences were dire, particularly for children who were unknowingly exposed to incredibly toxic levels of lead in the water. Lewis also warns us about the dangers of consensus science. In the pursuit of collaboration and cohesion, scientific dissent and skepticism are often stifled. This creates a dangerous environment where groupthink prevails and critical voices are silenced. Lewis's own experiences echo those of Dr. Stockman, highlighting the personal and professional sacrifices whistleblowers must make to stand up for the truth. Let's delve deeper into the Washington, D.C. crisis. Lewis was hired by the EPA to investigate the problem, but when he prioritized public interest over self-interest, his funding was cut, and his access to data was terminated. Despite this, he continued to expose the truth. When the scandal broke, the agencies responded with more deception, publishing reports that contradicted centuries of knowledge about the harmful effects of lead exposure. The agencies even went as far as issuing gold medals to those responsible, rewarding them for their public service. This is a chilling example of how those in power can manipulate science to protect their interests, even at the expense of public health. Lewis's story is one of courage and persistence. Despite facing immense opposition, he continued to fight for scientific truth. However, his journey was fraught with challenges. He faced legal battles, professional setbacks, and personal attacks. Yet, he remained steadfast, driven by a commitment to protect public health and uphold the integrity of science. The implications of Lewis's revelations are far-reaching. They highlight the urgent need for reform in how science is conducted and regulated. We must demand transparency, accountability, and a return to the core principles of scientific inquiry. We must also recognize the vital role of whistleblowers like Lewis, who risk everything to expose the truth. So, what can we do? First, we must educate ourselves and others about the issues raised in Science for Sale. We need to support policies that promote scientific integrity and hold those who abuse science accountable. We must also advocate for the protection of whistleblowers, who are essential to uncovering corruption and ensuring that science serves the public interest. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the complex and often troubling world of science and power. I hope this episode has inspired you to think critically about the information we receive and the sources we trust. Remember, science is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it can be misused. It's up to us to ensure that it is used for the greater good. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep learning.
This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book, Science for Sale: How the US Government Uses Powerful Corporations and Leading Universities to Support Government Policies, Silence Top Scientists, Jeopardize Our Health, and Protect Corporate Profits, by David L. Lewis. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.